Hi there virtual passengers, welcome aboard the Cessna 172. First of all, I need to apologise for the lack of videos over the last few weeks. I had a bit of a memory issue a few weeks ago as I was getting ready to record another video, which basically meant I couldn't access anything on my hard drive, which was causing me, as you can imagine, all manner of problems, and effectively I had to reinstall the sim and all of my add-ons and everything from scratch. So it's taken me a while to get all of that sorted and to get it to a level where everything seems to be working. So again, apologies for the lack of the videos, but what I'm going to do today is continue with my round the world trip. We're going on leg 52. If you can remember my last video, leg 51, we landed here in Bonthe. There's no official parking spaces here in Bonthe, so I've had to start at the end of the runway with basically the plane all started up. So I've gone through and put in the flight plan, so I'll go through the flight plan with you now. So if we have a look at sim brief, so sim brief, hopefully, I'm not sure why that's not showing up, just bear with me 2 seconds. Sim brief, just change that to that one. Go properties, otherwise find Windows same type. Good. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see this in just a moment. Yep. Okay, so sim brief plan for today. So we're taking off from Bonthe and flying to Roberts International. We're going to be landing on runway 22, which doesn't have an ILS, so we should have a nice, not too bad a landing, but I'll go through the procedures with you in a minute. I've loaded the fuel up at 68 kilos, and it's a nice, easy, straight flight. If I show you it on Navigraph, so Navigraph, let me just bring up the charts. Okay, so on Navigraph, it's got us going out to Matru, just ignore that. We're basically going straight down to Randy. We're flying along the whole coast to Jendi, Grey, and then we're going to take the RNAV straight in. So I need to effectively, this is the approach we're going to use, and we're coming into Grey here. 3,000, so I need to be at Ellen at 3,100 feet at 180 knots. We're only climbing to 3,000 feet, and I'm not going to hit 180 knots anyway. And the RNAV, so at Weifu here, so after Ellen, we get to Weifu, we need to be dropping down to 1,500 feet. We've got 6 miles to do it, that's plenty of time. We only need about 4.5, and then it's just a straight flight straight in onto runway 22. So should be a relatively straightforward landing. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I've prepped the plane for takeoff, so I'm just going to go straight into the takeoff now. So let me just set my recording software on to record the takeoff. Okay, so that's being recorded now as we speak, and let's just turn my head tracking back on again. There we go. So yeah, head tracking is on. I've gone for flaps 2 because at the end of this runway, if you remember when we came into land here last time, at the end of this runway there's some trees, so I want to try and get as much height as I can. So let me just get my view set up, reset the track. There we go. Okay, so parking brake is off, foot brake is on. We're going to be climbing up to 3,000 feet at 80 knots, so put the throttle in, foot brake off, just be careful with the input on the rudder. Oops. Ah, too much rudder. Not very good at the rudder still, as you can see. It's very hard when there's no line to line up with either on the concrete runways. Good, and we're up. This is so much easier when we're up in the air. Okay, climbing up at 60, so I'm just going to climb up to about 100 feet and then start the left turn to get us onto the route. So there's the airfield going behind us. See our shadow down there, it's quite nice. 200 feet, flaps up. This terrain, but there's the houses. I expect they're enjoying this wake-up call this evening. Okay. get ourselves back onto track here, just following the flight director until we get up to about 1,000 feet when I'll put the autopilot on, and that will take control. So just bring the throttle back just a little bit to 2,500 for the climbing. Take the feet off the rudders. Okay, 800 feet. 900 feet. We'll have a nice view outside in just a minute. 1,000 feet. Autopilot is on. That is now going to take control. Those are okay. Just going to turn off my recording software. Okay, that's done. Let's have a look at some camera views, shall we? So, external cameras. Nice view outside. So what I'm going to do, guys, is just allow you to enjoy the cruise, and I'll speak to you again when we're getting ready for the landing. So I'll speak to you again soon. Enjoy the cruise. Passengers, hope you enjoyed the cruise. I'm sure you'll agree we certainly flew through a few beautiful looking clouds, although rather grey and ominous looking. We're about 10 minutes away from our top of descent now, so I'm just going to run through the arrival procedure with you. Thought I'd give this a go for a change and see what you think. So let me just bring up the Navigraph charts. So if we have a look at the Navigraph charts, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more. We are basically going to be flying into Ellen. We're going to be doing 3,000 feet as opposed to 3,100, and we're going to be way below 180 knots. Once we've hit Ellen, we're then going to be heading towards the Weifu waypoint. So Ellen is going to be the initial approach fix. If we head to Weifu then and drop down to 1,500 on the way, we're then going to make a right-hand turn onto bearing or heading 218 towards the Jenny waypoint. Once we get to the Jenny waypoint, that's when we're going to start to descend at 3 degrees roughly down to the runway. So if we have a look, our ground speed is going to be about 100 knots, so we're probably going to be looking at about 500 feet per minute drop. I'm going to take over the autopilot when we get to Jenny, and I'm basically going to fly all in manually myself. As we start our descent from Ellen down to Weifu, I'm going to drop the RPM on the engine from its current 2,400 for cruise down to 2,300, and then as is usual we're going to use power for altitude, so we'll start to reduce the altitude or the power until we hit about 500 feet a minute, and we're going to use pitch for speed. The runway itself is quite long, it's 11,000 feet runway, so we're obviously coming in on runway 22. So basically lots of runway to play with. I'm probably only going to go to flaps 2 rather than flaps 3. And then once we've landed, if we manage to land and slow down quick enough, we'll come off on taxiway Charlie, turn left on Bravo, cross the runway into parking. If not, if we miss taxiway Charlie, once we slow down enough, we will then back taxi. So turn around on the runway and then come back onto the Charlie taxiway, left onto Bravo, across the runway and into parking. So I'm going to leave you now to enjoy highlights of some of our descent, and I will speak to you when we're on our final approach. Speak to you soon. Passengers, you join us just as we turn on to our final approach course now. So we're just dropping down to 1500 feet and we're 2 minutes away from the Jenny waypoint. You could just see the runway in the distance there. And it looks like we're going to have a nice sunset arrival. So our RPM has dropped now, so I'm just going to take it back up to 2400. We're at 1500 feet and I've got my track IR back on again, as you can probably see. So wait till we hit the Jenny waypoint in 4 miles and then I shall start to manually fly the aircraft myself. So I hope you've enjoyed the flight today. We're going to be looking at flaps 1 at Jenny and then flaps 2 just as we're coming into the final part of the approach and landing. So I'm going to stay quiet now and let you enjoy the remainder of the flight. It looks like we have got an ILS because there's a glide slope diamond there which is starting to come down towards us now, but I'm not going to use it because I haven't programmed the approach in, so I'm just going to manually fly it myself and use the diamond as a guide. So enjoy the sunset landing. I'm just going to start my replay software. I have it up on the other screen, which is why I all of a sudden looked behind me. So we've got a good headwind, which should make it a little bit easier for landing. The ILS is nicely coming in. I might actually see if I can get the glide slope, see if I can get the aircraft to take us in a bit further actually. Let's see what happens once we hit the glide slope. I'll arm approach mode and see what happens. See, the runway's all nicely lit up. The sun is almost set. So currently 106 knots, so can't deploy flaps till 85 knots, so I will start to slow down shortly. Okay, let's see what happens if I now arm approach mode. So pick up the glide path, it's flashing, it's flashing, it's flashing. Let's find out, shall we? Start to reduce the revs now down to 2000. We're starting to drop, so we picked up the glide path, so in actual fact I could probably control this now myself, or at least get the aircraft to control it. Okay, perhaps we haven't got the glide path yet. Okay, I'm going to turn the autopilot off, I'm going to fly it in myself. So just need to drop a little bit quicker. And as soon as we've hit 85 knots, I'll deploy flaps 1. Looking good. Approach down by the river. Do without the stutters. I was hoping a clean install was going to fix that. I've also gone a bit add-on mad now that I've got a new hard drive on here. So expect to see some good add-ons on some of my future flights. I'm hoping to do my Nile next leg and the next leg of my North UK Scotland over the next couple of weeks, so expect those videos to be coming up soon as well. I don't know if you prefer these GA aircraft videos or the airliners, to be honest. I have got a subscriber video from Naples to Heathrow to do. Okay, so we're down at 85 knots, flaps 1, check.
500.
500, check. Let's reduce the throttle a bit more. Wind's blowing me off a little bit. There we go. 75 knots, flaps 2. Try and keep the approach speed at about 70. And say the general parking is off to across the runway, off there on the right. Bit more throttle. You can see an aircraft above me there coming into. He's just flying over by the looks of it, and hopefully you can just see his lights pretty much in the middle of my propellers. Yep. So, looking good for a good landing here today. 65 knots. Don't forget to stay on for the replays at the end after I've landed and parked up. There'll be replays of the takeoff and landing. And watch out as well on the end of some upcoming videos. There might be a couple of clues in there as to what I'm going to be looking at next. Don't want to give too much away just yet because I've got to do a bit more practicing on it. Nice, okay, perfect. We are looking perfect. Over the threshold, idle throttle. Don't need to do much for flare because I'm already pretty much there. Didn't quite make it. However, I'm going to do a very quick turnaround here. Oh, it looks like this jumbo jet's actually coming in to land. So let's get off the runway quickly. So we're going off on this taxiway here, taxiway Charlie. How did the landing look? Let's have a look, shall we? Look at that, bang in the middle. It's one of my better landings with this aircraft, no bounces. Nice, take that. Oh, I need to turn around. I actually came off the runway quicker than I thought I was going to. So you can just see the moon there in front of me. So let's just turn around and see if we can get across this runway before this other aircraft comes up. Because my parking is over there. Where is he? Yeah, got plenty of time, he's not landed yet. Let's put a quick bit of rev in. Let's put my taxi light on, I might be able to see a bit more then. Straight over. Where is he? He's not landed. Good. Okay, so that's us off the runway now. So we're just going to pick some general aviation parking, shut down, and then I will do the replay. So landing lights off, nav lights off, strobe light off. Keep the beacon on until the engine goes off. See, it's starting to get dark now. Yeah, it didn't come in by the looks of it. There's probably a problem with the FSLTL. Okay, so let's bring flaps up. Flaps are up. I'm just going to turn the aircraft around so it's ready for my next flight. Very stuttery there, it's not good. Let's park up looking at the moon, shall we? Good. Parking brake on. Fuel mixture all the way out, that'll cut the engine off. Avionics off. Battery off. Lights off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Roberts International Airport. I hope you enjoyed the flight today, and as I say, just watch out for the replays in just a minute for the landings and the takeoff, and I'll see you on the next video. Until next time, take care.